We got a packed show and we've got a lot of time together. So get comfortable, make some popcorn, and enjoy.
Let's
All
go.
right. First of all, market update. So this is just a general market update, not specifically NFTs. So if we have a look here at the Nasdaq S&P 500, overall, we started the day down and then we were slightly up last time I checked. Looking like we got some green shoots here. Amazon up 3% on the day. On the health side, we've got J&J down about 1%, but Lilly up about 3%. But mostly tech is what matters for us. We've got Microsoft down 0.3, Google down 0.2, Meta down 0.33, Oracle down 0.02, Apple down 1, Nvidia down 0.45. So it looks like it's a bit of a red day overall on the market, but I've been quite surprised. I watch the market very, very closely. Even before NFTs, I've always been very interested in the market, and typically the last couple of weeks we've been on a consistent up. Which is counterintuitive because things are still very uncertain in the global side of things. And the States has got a lot of shit going on. Russia's got a lot of stuff going on. China's got a lot of stuff going on. There's just a lot happening, a lot of uncertainty, but we've seen the stock market doing really well in the last couple of months, which is quite interesting. If we have a look at crypto, we've definitely had a red couple of days. We did so nicely. We jumped all the way up to 2,100 on ETH, over 30,000 on Bitcoin, over 25 on Solana. But we've pulled back quite dramatically. We're looking at Bitcoin at 27,400, ETH 1,850, Sol at 2,140. I've got this new little thing I wanted to show you, Cade.
Oh,
Bubbles.
I
And this
love
is
that.
all, yeah, man. This is all the coins. And this is based on today. This is the last day. So you can see the red means they down on the day. The little greens is not that many mean they up. And the more that they up or down, the bigger the circles are. So it gives you a really nice view to be able to see what's up and what's down. If we change that to week, you can see it's been a very, very red week
Wow. Wow.
on crypto. So even the alts, obviously we had the Pepe going absolutely crazy. The meme coin took off like no one could have ever guessed. But there's definitely consolidation happening at the moment. A lot of people will say that it was going to happen. There was really strong resistance. We bounced off that resistance, which is completely normal, and then we'll retest, and then that's healthy correction and hopefully continue going forward. I must be honest, I'm still actually quite bullish on crypto to be quite honest, in the near term, in the short term, I am quite bullish. At these prices, it's looking a bit tempting to fill a couple of bags. Because yeah, I mean, I think guys are seeing with the bank crisis that even dollars in the bank cannot be 100% trusted. So we've seen a very big flight to gold, the actual metal gold, and on top of that, you're going to see a flight to Bitcoin, which is digital gold. So medium term, even short term, at these prices, it's quite attractive for me. I'm considering and I'm looking. Yeah, I mean, we've had a really bad 2 or 3 days. Is this the buying opportunity of the century, the one that we all thought we missed when ETH was $2,100, or is this the beginning of it going back down to 1,500 and then lower? No one really knows, but my feeling, not financial advice, my feeling is that short term to mid term, there's space to go up here on the big coins, on ETH, Solana, Bitcoin, Looks, Ape, stuff like that, right?
Mm.
And that's your market update.
Did you hear there's some guy on Twitter or TikTok, I forget what it was. He literally, I think he put in, it was either $40 or 400, and he pulled out
Mm,
$500,000 in 24
yeah.
hours. And I was just like, what in the fuck? Are you kidding me? And it was crazy. He's like, bro, I just put in $400, went to work or something, and then he was like, and I just pulled out 400K. And I was like, oh my god, bro.
So
Like
the thing
Pepe.
is that's incredible. Like, well done. The thing is that you're shooting in the dark. So if you do, if he put $400 in one meme coin, and that was Pepe, and it went like it did, he's the luckiest guy alive. The guys I know are putting $400 in 100
Yeah.
meme coins and hoping that one of them will do a Pepe. But it was
It's
nice to see
crazy.
the degen market again, right? It was nice to see a pump like that. We
Yep.
haven't had that for quite a while. And I think it's just good overall for sentiment, you know. But something that's not good overall for sentiment is our friend Gary Gensler. And the nice thing about me is that, first of all, I don't have a NFT project at all. So I'm not scared of him calling anything a security because I don't have any tokens.
Mm.
I've never sold an NFT, and I'm in South Africa. So I just want to tell you, I watched this whole thing, and I have never, you know, someone that I thought was like so knowledgeable and really understood these things to know so little. I think this guy is an absolute idiot. I think
Mhm.
he is in over his head, completely over his head, with what's going on here. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's busy winging it. It's like when you get that waiting job and you tell them that you've got 10 years experience behind a bar, and then you get the job and they now put you behind the bar and you don't even know what a cocktail is. You don't know how to mix anything. You know, you've never used those taps. You've never done anything. This guy is in over his head. And I feel so light that I can say whatever I feel. This guy's an absolute idiot. He says he's never, ever, ever bought any crypto in his entire life. He's never had any experience with it. However, he taught people a little bit about it, right? Which is the funniest thing. We always say, you know, people who teach don't do. When he was quizzed there and in the hot seat and asking, listen, is Ethereum a security? Yes or no? People deserve to know. The guy was a baffling balloon. He doesn't know anything. He has no idea. He's making the shit up as he goes along. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in
Bro,
my life.
you know the
I'll tell
stupid.
you one thing. I just want to tell you one thing before, and I do want to hear.
Yeah.
It reminds me, you know, when Barack Obama came to South Africa, I think it was for Nelson Mandela's funeral. He came to South Africa and he had all the security and whatever. And when he gave a speech, they had a South African sign interpreter to do sign language, right? And it turned out afterwards that the sign language interpreter guy was talking gibberish. He didn't know sign language. He literally got the
Oh,
job somehow and he was just making shit up. And it was the funniest thing and the biggest controversy you could ever find in your life because
no.
here, with all the Secret Service
Wow.
around Obama, here, this guy that wasn't even a sign interpreter was able to be standing next to the president of the United
Dude.
States. Okay. And he wasn't even a sign interpreter. The guy just thought, look, I'll go for the interview and well, let's see what happens. And he got it because no one else understood sign language. And he went with it. He was like, and stocks are up and this is down and this and all this shit. And it turned out afterwards the deaf community was like, what the hell is this guy? This makes no sense. And that's what this guy reminded me of. This head of the SEC. It's unbelievable.
You know what that makes me want to do? So like when I hear stories like that, I get competitive because I've walked into scenarios that I'm not supposed to be there for and I've winged it and it's worked sometimes. And that makes me so competitive to go and rival that feat. That is insane, bro. Imagine being next to the President of the United States, Barack Obama, a terrific speaker. If you know,
Amazing speaker.
and
Yeah.
just go up and like hear him talk and just make things up. I'm like, bro, I would do some shit like that. Like I remember in college, I was visiting my friend Nancy at a different big university college, and she worked there. And I forget what she was. She maybe was an RA or something. And they had this big board meeting thing happen, and she like was part of it, but like not really. And we were like, and she forgot that she had it. So we're like going in to like get breakfast or something, and like one of the administrative people goes, "Hey Nancy, like meeting starts in 2 minutes. Like you ready?" And she looks at me and she's like, "Oh shit!" And then she goes, "Yo, maybe you should just come inside and see if they'll like let you in and like just pretend like you work here or something." I forget what exactly we made up. I walked in, bro. I was given free lunch, free drinks. I hung out. I participated in the board meeting. I gave my thoughts on the college, and it was just the funniest fucking thing. We walked out, and I was buzzing, dude. It was. It's there's nothing like
Look,
going in.
I'm all for it.
You
I'm
know,
all for it. Fake it until you make it. I'm faking that I know how to be a parent. I'm faking that I'm a good husband. Like I try to be. I'm saying I'm faking. Fine, but certain things like when you're the head of the SEC or when you're a sign language interpreter next to the president of the United States, certain things you can't do that. I've actually looked it up here. Let me show you because it's the funniest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. I would love to see so historic fake
oh
sign
my
language
god,
interpreter. at Mandela's memorial.
If you're on Twitter Spaces right now and you want to watch this, you're going to be able to hear it, but you're not going to obviously be able to see the sign language. So go to YouTube. It's the pinned tweet in the Twitter Space.
Well, you're not going to be able to hear it,
you're not gonna be able to hear
actually.
it, so if you want to
But
watch
here is the guy. Here's the guy. Completely doesn't know what he's doing. But I want to show you next to Obama.
It looks like he's
standing. He's standing. Look how his hands are. Even his hands are wrong. He's like Obama saying, and I'm here. And okay, forget the people in the crowd.
Oh my god, bro, that motherfucker.
But this guy is right next to the president of the United States, and he's pretending to be a sign language interpreter, and he isn't. And he keeps his hands together most of the time, and every so often just does a tiny little something. It was hilarious.
Awesome. Wow, I cannot believe it. I wonder what kind of repercussions that happens. And also, one thing that makes me the idea of winging stuff and the fact that, Gary Gensler is just like an old white dude. It reminds me of COVID, and it reminds me of Dr. Fauci and a lot of stuff that went on with a lot of the public figures during that time. And it looked like they were kind of making things up as they went, which found out they literally were. I mean, I don't know whose fault that is, because I don't know what I would have done too if a virus like that was spreading and we had to make decisions on air in real time. Like, I'm not sure if I would have done any better or anyone else, but it kind of reminds me of that. And this is some fucking nonsense seeing this. It looks very random.
And there's Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, next to him. And there was such backlash afterwards. The Sign Language Association of South Africa came out and said, this guy was making no sense, and how can they not find out first whether he knows? But you can even see, look how he's just literally doing the same thing over and over again. It's hilarious. So that's what it reminds me of. That's what Gary Gensler remind me of. I mean, and I'm just like, yes. So I mean,
knew that he didn't, like, if he was there thinking, oh, this is really bad, or if he was like, yo, this is funny,
or if he really thinks he can sign, and he was like, just these guys are getting the best sound language interpreter in the whole of Africa. Wow. So I mean, what we saw now, which is interesting and going to happen, is Coinbase has now applied for a license and been granted a license in Bermuda, also looking for approval in Abu Dhabi. And obviously, from an operational perspective, from a purely business perspective in any industry, if there's uncertainty regarding regulation in what you're doing, you need to look elsewhere, because you don't want to be operating in a country that doesn't even themselves know whether what you're doing is legal or not. If they cannot tell you whether, this is a security, this is not a security, this is allowed, this is not allowed, how are you supposed to know? And it just puts your business at huge risk, because you could inadvertently be doing things that are illegal because no one knows whether it's legal or not. And so they're applying for licenses everywhere. We've seen other big exchanges doing the same. And, I think America's got to think really carefully and say, look, do we want to be on the forefront of innovation and really embrace these new technologies and be a place where people want to come for the stuff? Or do we want to do what we're doing now and completely reject them and make their lives miserable and make their lives uncertain, so that we aren't the ones that they come to when they want to start these things? And I think it's a very serious question that they need to ask themselves and really seriously consider changing their approach to these type of things, because this is not the way that the biggest, best country in the world should be treating innovation. They fucking up left, right, and center, to put it quite bluntly.
Dude, they're fucking up in like all places. Like, the idea of me moving internationally has popped up so many times in my head, and I'm very like not opposed to it. I'm kind of down. It's a big life decision to do that kind of thing. It's pretty risky, but man, dude, a lot of nonsense happening in the United States. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't really like that. I don't know if half the shit we're doing is legal. It's just weird, Like, I'm like filing taxes, and I'm like, bro, like, I don't know if I did any of this shit right. Like, I know it's like a joke on Twitter right now of like everyone fucking up their taxes and the IRS coming after them. But bro, I have no idea if I did that right. None. I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, even if I hired a lawyer, they wouldn't know if I did